I think what fascinates me is about Dunfield before Community of Christ purchased it was that it was always in the hands of people who cared about people and community and the environment. So it was individuals mainly. And connections with the local churches as well. So the son of one of the owners actually became the Bishop of Wales at one point. So very involved in church life. And we've not found any skeletons in the cupboard, which is quite nice. So that's always been, I think, the way Dunfield feels, that it's very warm and comforting, and people sense the history of the place. It was requisitioned during the war, where a lot of planning happened here. It was requisitioned by the Canadian Army, and they had the white officers stayed in the house and the black officers camped in the field. They weren't allowed to go into Kincton together to the pubs because they would fight each other. They wouldn't fight with the locals, but they'd fight with each other. There's anecdotal evidence that a lot of planning happened here. Anecdotal evidence that Winston Churchill came because he had family relations in the area. And the family that lived here were moved out into the cottage at the bottom of the lane during the war. They never moved back. It was then a bed and breakfast. It was called the Guest House with a Difference, run by a couple, Mrs. Frodsham and I've forgotten the lady's name. They ran it as a guest house, and we've got photos from a lady who came here when it was a guest house. And there was also a cabinet maker, and he used to he furnished the house with all the cabinets he'd made, and then he brought people here from London to buy the furniture. And he had I think it was on Bond Street, his furniture shop?
I believe so, yes. The current building was built around about 1850, we think. So definitely sort of the Victorian era. And yes, obviously developed since then. It would have taken some time, I guess, to build a house of this size.
So the original structure that we understand was on the site was a tithe barn. So that was where people would store their tithes from the area. So it was quite a prominent place even then. We haven't got any sort of evidence of that apart from old maps, which suggests that it was a significant establishment. But when it was sold in 1949, it had something like 76,000 acres. Because it was very much a hunting, shooting, fishing place. And over the years, that land has been sold off. And so Dunfield now stands in 15 acres of grounds.
What are your memories of growing up here with your parents as manager?
I think my memories are of just having this wild, free life. So we moved here and with 15 acres, and we had children at the farm and the lodge and the cottage. And we ranged in ages. For Chris and I, we were sort of in the middle age group, so there were younger children and older children. And we just used to go off, there was 9 or 10 of us, and we just used to go off, when we weren't in school, and we'd be out for 8 hours, 9 hours. And if we got lost, we'd just go to a farm and they'd ring the farm and they'd come out in a Land Rover to pick us up. It was just idyllic.
Well, I came to work here in 1981, I think it was, originally. I've been working with the bank before then, the Midland Bank. And so I came and I was responsible for maintenance and upkeep of the property and the grounds.
What's it like looking after estate grounds?
It's never ending. It's like the Forth Bridge, they say the painting of the Forth Bridge. Once you finish one end, you've got to start again the other end. So yes, it was never ending, but it was always good to be out there and cut the grass, and you can't do anything else when you're cutting the grass. So I always enjoyed that bit.
The theme, How Good the World Can Be, came about because we actually brought together group leaders from schools and from a children's holiday group, and we were trying to find this tagline that fitted everyone. And we had, I think, about 20 different taglines. And then I suddenly realised that Angie's school had created a video. And at the end of the video, the teacher says, and above all, we found out how good the world can be. So that was that. We just sat there and went, well, there you go. there's the theme. That for us embodied Dunfield, because Dunfield is here for Christian groups, it's here for groups of no faith, it's here for Muslim community, the Jewish community, the Hindu, whoever wants to come, there's no barrier.